Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. It's nice to be back. So we'll be spending another hour and a half together. Today's practice at the end is a breathing exercise. We alternate every week for those of you who are new. And it's part of the yoga practice, the traditional yoga practice, something called the 8 limbs of yoga, called the pranayama practice of the breathing, particularly the breathing with the stomach, using the diaphragm. So it's very similar to Tai Chi, where you actually, it's a movement exercise coordinated with breathing. So we'll be using all our joints, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and then it's equivalent on the lower part of the body, which would be the hip, the knee, and the heel, right? So we're going to start with doing some joint exercise, and um, it's actually a meditation too. It's what I call meditation in motion. Meditation does not need to be sitting meditation. It can be done with walking, standing, lying down, as well as exercise. All right. So I want you to come back to the body, bring the mind to the body. So whenever we say mindfulness, it just means to locate your mind, anchor your mind. And this time we're going to anchor our mind on the body. So let's start with the lower part of our spine, the bottom of our spine. And then let's walk up the spine. As we walk towards the top of the head, let's stretch the spine. Stretch and then lean back, relax. Now let's focus on the shoulder. Move the shoulder up, move the shoulder back, and then relax. Let's check also our forehead. Let's lean back the forehead, bringing the ears on top of the shoulder. So the weight of the head is on top of the spine, not using any muscle. And then we kind of slightly tuck in the chin. So this is how we calibrate our posture, our sitting posture. Now that we calibrate our body, let's calibrate our breath. So let's focus on the breath, one breath at a time, and just kind of whisper to yourself, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. The breath is an interesting part of our body function. It's the only one that if you don't do anything, it would breathe on its own. But you can also control the breath. And by controlling the breath, you actually control your mind. So as you calm down your breath, you're actually calming down your mind. All right, so let's start with a joint exercise. We're going to start with the wrist. So let's focus on the center of our palm. Let's bring the hand and the mind together. Now, putting the body and the mind together, synchronizing them is in fact the true meaning of the word yoga. Now that we brought it up to a shoulder level, let's focus on the wrist. And we're going to turn the wrist one turn at a time, knowing that there's a beginning and an end. And in the beginning, we're going to develop the habit of always checking our mind in the beginning. And before you turn, you ask yourself, where is my mind? All right, my mind is somewhere else. That's not good. Let's bring it back, focus on the wrist. And as you turn, you maintain that focus. And then when you get to the end, you ask yourself one more time, one turn at a time. And as we turn, we focus on the sensation of our body. We want to feel if there's any heat, any pain, any numbness, any sweat, any kind of change in the body. All right, so now we're going to turn it the other way. Again, there's a beginning and an end. Completely focus on the body, completely focus on sensing the sensation, the change in the body, one turn at a time. At the beginning of the turn, we ask ourselves to focus. And then at the end of the turn, we ask ourselves to continue. And that's called diligence. One turn at a time, one turn at a time, one turn at a time. Now let's bring the hands down, but we bring it down the same way we brought it up, which is that we focus on the center of your palm, bring it back down. And now we're back to the spine. Stretch the spine, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back, the upper torso, and then relax. Once again, we focus on the center of the palm. We're bringing the hands up and all the way up. Now we focus on the elbow. We turn the elbow one at a time. So in the Western world, we tend to think that when we exercise, the faster the better. The faster the better. And in the Eastern world, it's not necessarily the case. It's actually more important that as we turn, we actually stay focused on the body, mind, body together. One turn at a time, one turn at a time. Now we turn the other way, one turn at a time. Completely focus on the elbow, completely focus on the sensation of the elbow. Examine are there any change in the body, any sweat, any numbness, any pain. And now we're going to lower the hand, same way we brought it up, bring it all the way down. And we're going to move from the elbow to the shoulder. But before we do that, let's stretch the spine again, maintain that posture. Let's lift up our shoulder again. Let's open the shoulder, lean back, and then relax, completely relax. All right, so now we get ready to do the shoulder exercise, which means that we come back to the center of the palm again, mind, body together. Let's bring up the hands, crossing the hand this time. Very slowly, very gently, bring it up in front of us, and then very gently bring it on top of us. And now we're going to stretch up the torso, stretch the arms, stretch the spine. And before we come down, we want to make sure that our mind is actually anchored on the center of the palm. We're going to turn the palm upward. We're going to open the shoulder, and we feel the pain on the shoulder. And we're going to practice letting go. We're going to let go of the pain, which means that we focus on the center of the palm again. We're bringing it up. Whatever happened in the shoulder is already gone. Let it go. And now we're going to stretch, and then we're going to turn the hand outward, palm facing out. Feel the pain on the shoulder. Let go of the pain. Maintain focus. Bring it back to the center of the palm. Let the pain go. Don't let it become suffering. Don't let it metastasize, become suffering. And then open the shoulder, feel the pain on the shoulder, let go of the pain, come back, follow the hand, bring it all the way up, stretch as hard as we can, turn the palm outward, open the shoulder, feel the pain on the shoulder. Let's do one more time. Turn the hands up, all the way up, stretch, and then turn the palm outward, feel the pain on the shoulder. Now we're going to turn the other way. Open the shoulder first, stretch, come down together with the center of the palm, mind, body together. Open it first, stretch, bring it back down very slowly, very gently. Open, stretch, bring it back down. One more time, open, stretch, and then bring it down very slowly. Now we're going to go from front to back. So let's stretch the spine again, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. Let's focus on the center of the palm, bring it in front of us very gently. Focus entirely on the center of the palm, bring it on top of us. Now let's open the shoulder, bring the hands as far back as you can. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain, focus, maintain focus all the way back. Feel the pain on the shoulder, let go of the pain, maintain focus, and all the way back. Open the shoulder, feel the pain on the shoulder, let go of the pain on the shoulder. One more time, all the way back. Feel the pain, let go of the pain, come back. Now we're going to go from back to front. Let's as far back as we can. Bring it up. All the way up, stretch, and then bring it back down, all the way back, all the way up, stretch, and then bring it back down, all the way back, all the way up, stretch, and then bring it down. One more time, all the way back, stretch, and then bring it back down. And that's the reason we practice mindfulness. And that's the reason we say mindfulness is actually very simple. And if you look at the original translation of the word mindfulness, which was actually done at the end of towards the end of the 19th century, very famous Pali scholar, start translating the Pali Sutra. And he just basically says mindfulness in this case in Pali means sati, and Sati is the name of the goddess, name of a princess. And the story about the princess of the goddess is that she remembers, right? And so mindfulness in this case just remembers. Always check your mind, anchor your mind on your body when you move, when you walk, when you exercise. Anchor your mind on your breath when you're standing still, when you're sitting, and when you're lying down. And the reason why you want to do that is because if you don't do it, your mind wanders. For example, in this case, you feel the pain on your shoulder. The pain is already gone. But yet, if you don't anchor your mind, you're going to follow the pain. And then that pain will become suffering. All right. It's the first step in our spiritual practice is to develop this new habit of always knowing where is your mind. All right. So now we're done with exercise. We're going to come back to a sitting posture. And since we're not moving, we're going to focus on a breath. Now let's focus on a breath. And after you do an exercise, it's very easy because right now your breath is very rushed, very it's almost like huffing and puffing. And so it's very easy to watch your breath. And so you just say, I know I'm breathing in. I can feel the change in my body. I know I'm breathing out, one breath at a time. All right. Now, as simple as that is, very often we don't really pay attention to our breath, right? We breathe. What's the big deal? Well, actually, it turns out that it's very important to focus on your breath. Anchor your mind on your breath, one breath at a time. All right. So always know the difference. When you're moving, anchor your mind on your body. When you're not moving, anchor your mind on your breath. And that's called mindfulness. All right. All right. So we're going to do 3 more exercises, and then we're going to do a sitting meditation. So these 3 exercises are very basic Qigong exercise. The first one is called double blade, and as if we're using the hands as the blade, we have 2 of them. But it's also bringing the practice in a different level in that you're going to be using either the left brain or the right brain. And so you're going to practice this idea of feeling the pain, accepting the pain, and then letting go of the pain. Now, right now, of course, we're just doing it with physical pain, but you can imagine that as you develop this habit, that you can even do that with mental pain, right? All right, so come back to the body, stretch your spine, lean back, relax, lift up a shoulder, open the shoulder, relax, check a forehead, lean back the forehead, so the ears on top of the shoulder, and then tuck in the chin. And then we're going to put the left hand in front. We're going to stretch out the right hand. We're going to focus on the right hand, which means you're only using the left side of the brain. And we're going to move the right hand in a big circle in front. And then we're going to bring it as far back as we can, so we can really feel that pain on the right shoulder. And then we're going to accept that pain and we're going to let it go by now using the right side of the brain. And this time we're going to use the left hand, make a big circle, open the shoulder, feel the pain on the shoulder, accept that pain, let go of the pain. Right hand, open, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Left hand, sit up straight, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Right hand, sit up straight, one hand at a time, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Left hand, feel the pain, accept that pain, and then let go of the pain. 2 more times. Sit up straight, right hand, feel the pain on the shoulder, let go of that pain, accept that pain, and then left hand side. 1 last time. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Come back to the breath, 1 breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay. Now, that acceptance is a very important part of our practice because usually when we say, oh, you just have to let it go, it's already gone, just let it go. It's not that easy, right? It's not that easy. Most people who ask you to do that, they're basically asking you to ignore the pain. You can't ignore the pain. The pain is there. The pain is real. What you need to do is you need to really feel that pain, but then you have to accept it, and then you have to let it go. Now, that's obviously true with physical pain, but it's even more true with mental pain, right? It's a practice. All right. So now we're going to do the second exercise, which is a very energetic exercise called throwing the fist. And basically, it sends energy out and then the return of that energy. And so again, we come back to the posture. We sit up straight. We lift up our shoulder. We lean back and then we relax. Now we're going to bring up the right hand. We're going to focus on the center of the palm. We're going to make a fist. And then we're going to aim to the upper left-hand corner. Get ready. Up, come back. Use the left hand. Up, come back. Sit up straight. Down, down, up, up, down, down. One more time. Up, up, down, down. We're going to sit up straight. We're going to use both hands. Get ready. Open the shoulder. One, come back through the vibration. Two, come back. Three, come back. Four, come back. And five. And once again, back to the breath. After an energetic exercise, we're going to come back and focus on the breath. One breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. One breath at a time. Okay, now we'll come to the last exercise, which is to basically energize a vagus nerve and get ourselves ready for the meditation, going from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the spine again. We're going to stretch the spine, and then we're going to open that shoulder, lean back and relax. Once you open the shoulder, you take the hand, you put the thumb in front of the shoulder, you wrap the four fingers up very, very gently. You lift up the shoulder, you follow the elbow, you lift up the entire upper torso as far up as you can. And then you follow the elbow as you bring the elbow back, you open the shoulder all the way back as if you're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. Then you follow the elbow again as you bring down the elbow, you relax. And then you continue so that you're pointing the elbow forward. And this time you're looking straight down, you're bending your neck and your back. And as you lift up, you stretch upward, you're looking straight ahead. And then you continue as you open, you're looking at the ceiling slightly. And then as you bring it down, you relax until you're looking down again. As you bring up, you close your mouth, you breathe in all the way until you open. As you come down, you breathe out and you completely relax. Now you're actually energizing the vagus nerve, which starts at the bottom of the ear, comes down through your back to the lower back, enters into your stomach, and continues with your diaphragm. So that's why we do deep breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. You need to be very relaxed. Breathe in, stretch, open, and then breathe out all the way out. Breathe in, open, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. Breathe in, open, and then breathe out. Lower your hand. Now we're going to do some sitting meditation. And when you do sitting meditation, you again start with the body. The posture is very important. And we have these what's called the four postures: sitting, standing, lying down, and walking. And we sit like the bell, like the Liberty Bell. Okay? We stand like the pine tree. We lie down like the bow, as in bow and arrow. And we walk like the wind. So when we sit, we want to first check our legs. You can sit like I do, or you can just sit on your chair. And when you're sitting on your chair, you want to make sure the height of the chair is just right, so that not only the bottom of your feet touching the ground, but that it's actually right below your knee, and so it's not too short. If it's too short, then the bottom of your feet would be either ahead of the knee or behind the knee. Right? So make sure you have the right height of the chair. Make sure you're not dangling the feet. And now you want to check your hands. The hands needs to be rested, and I don't suggest that you do any hand gesture. Just relax your hand, not using any muscle. And then comes to the spine. This is the spine is like the clapper inside the bell. It needs to be hang on the ceiling. So start at the lower back, walk up the spine, stretch the spine as if you're hanging the spine on the ceiling. You get to the all the way to the top. And then you lean back slightly as if you're positioning the clapper in the center of the bell. And then you relax. Then you lift up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, and you relax. Then you lean back the forehead so that the ears on top of the shoulder, the weight of the head is on the spine, the entire upper torso is rested on your spine. Then you tuck in your chin slightly so that the top of the head is actually on top of the spine. We call this the one pillar supporting the sky. The pillar is now the conduit of the energy between Earth and the universe. And so when we talk about chi here, we're actually talking about the chi that is outside of your body. The chi, the energy that is actually flowing between one magnetic body and another magnetic body. And now we want to focus on the forehead, relax the forehead, relax between your eyebrow, and then we want to relax the eyelid. You relax the eyelid by shutting your eyes but not closing it tightly. So we call this the shade, like the window shade. The eyelids are like the window shade. You just lower the drapes, and so you can actually see some light coming through your eyelashes. You can perhaps see your hands in your knee. Just relax. And finally, you want to take the tip of the tongue and put it behind the teeth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. This way, it turns on the saliva gland. Make sure that you are in the parasympathetic mode, which means parasympathetic means rest and digest. And so now that you get your posture right, we can then focus on the breath. Now, when we do sitting meditation, we're actually doing abdominal breathing. This is very important. When you do abdominal breathing, which means that you want to learn to use your diaphragm to breathe, right? Now, the lung has no muscle, so you have to use muscle in order to breathe. When we were born, we were using our diaphragm because it was the only muscle that we have. It was a muscle that we developed when we were inside mother's womb to extract nutrients through the umbilical cord. So when they were first born, when we were first born, that was the only muscle that we have. Except that as we get older and older, we lose that ability. So we don't know how to use that muscle anymore, and we start to use the rest of the body, particularly the upper body muscles around the shoulders, and that creates a lot of stress. So the longevity practice is to go back to the diaphragm. So the first practice that we're going to do is learn to focus on our belly button. And we're going to feel our body And if you feel that you're breathing in, just move the belly button forward as if you're opening the stomach. This will lower the diaphragm. Now, the only way you can do that is to relax because the diaphragm is viscoelastic, means that if you're anxious, right, it actually tightens it up. So you have to relax. And most of you, the more I ask you to relax, the more you becomes stressful because you don't know how to relax. You don't know what it means to actually use your diaphragm. So let me take a step back. Instead of actually moving the belly button, imagine that you're moving the belly button. So when you feel that you're breathing in, just imagine that the belly button is going forward. And you feel that you're breathing out, just imagine the belly button is going back. It doesn't matter if it's actually doing it, because I just want to do that from a very relaxed state. When you breathe in, imagine that you're moving forward. When you breathe out, imagine that you're moving back. And guess what? The body actually follows and it actually moves forward and it actually moves back. All right. Now let's practice that for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Completely focus on your breath, completely focus on the belly button. When you feel that you're breathing in, move it forward, opening the stomach. When you feel that you're breathing out, bring it back, one breath at a time. Okay, open your eyes. We're going to continue, but before we continue, I want to talk about the difference between lifespan and health span. So here we talk a lot about how we want to be healthy, the things that we need to do to be healthy. And so in the past, I talked about the 5 things that you have to do, and I called it NEURO. N is for nutrition, E is for energy, exercise. U is to unwind, right? You need to kind of learn how to activate your vagus nerve. You need to put yourself in the rest and digest. Going to vacation is not unwinding. And then finally, it's the importance of having uh, a high quality sleep, using the sleep as a way of restoring your neurological health, letting your brain detox. And then finally, is open. Turns out that it's very important to be open to others, open to loving kindness and all that, right? And that's the only way that you can be healthy. And so when we talk about longevity, it's not about having a long lifespan. I know lots of people, lots of my older relatives spend more than 10 years in bed, right? In bed, looking at the ceiling every day and waiting for people to come to change his or her diaper. That's no way to live. That's not what we want when we talk about longevity. What we want is a long health span. And you have to do all these 5 things to really have a good health. Actually, it just comes back to um, restoring the balance between the yin and the yang. Now, what is yin? What is yang? Yang is the influence of the sun. Yin is the influence of the absence of the sun. So this really explains the development of a species, right? Long time ago, hundreds and millions of years ago, when we were sharing ancestors with the apes and the monkeys, we used to live on trees. One day, we discovered the use of the thumb, and we can rip off a branch, use it as a defensive weapon or offensive weapon. And from that day on, we decided that we walk down from the tree and we start to live in a cave. Well, only 2 things happen when you live in a cave. Either you're in the sun outside the cave, or you're inside the cave away from the sun. And so when we say yin and yang, that's what it means. Yang is when you're outside the cave. Yin is when you're inside the cave. What happens when you're outside the cave? Then you have to confront danger. What happens when you're inside the cave? That's the place where you feel safe and you can restore. So when you're outside in the cave under the sun in the yang mode, your body enter what is called sympathetic, or what we call fight or flight. That's when you optimize all your resources to stay alive. And the first thing you want to shut off are your immune system, and then the digestive system, and then the reproductive system. All of those you don't need. And then when you come back, if you can come back, you come back to the cave, and that's what we call rest and digest. And then you just restore all that function. And the hormone is a cycle. So when you're outside the cave, you put out all these stress hormones, including cortisol, which is a form of steroid. Steroid does one thing and one thing only, which is to reduce inflammation. Then when you return to the cave, you don't need stress hormone anymore, and you can continue to restore the sensitivity to the stress hormone. What happens in the last 60, 70 years, for as long as I've been alive, we try to outpace our evolution, right? We try to outpace evolution. We live 24 hours as if we're outside the cave. We're under stress all the time. Our body is full of stress hormone, full of cortisol, full of steroid. And pretty soon we lose sensitivity to that steroid. Then we need more steroid from the outside. That's why when your body inflames, the doctor gives you steroid when you already have so much of it. But that's because you lose sensitivity to your own steroid. So what we do here is we're trying to restore that balance by going back to the basic, which is to use our diaphragm. Turns out that when you breathe with your diaphragm, when you breathe in, you enter into the fight or flight, the heart rate actually goes up. And when you breathe out, and your body, the heart rate goes down. And that difference is only in a matter of milliseconds. It can be measured, and that measurement is called HRV, heart rate variability. And it turns out that there's a lot of study that says how HRV points to reduction of inflammation, including inflammation of your brain, and it actually helps to reduce dementia. There's another study. There's a guru that I like very much, still living in North India, Satguru, and he has over 10,000 students. And Harvard University did a study. None of his students have dementia. Not only that, his students actually have reverse aging in terms of the brain. It's amazing, right? So here, what we're trying to do is to restore that balance, and so that's why those 5 things are important, and nutrition in such a way that you reduce inflammation in your body, focus on the probiotic. That's very important for your intestinal health. Exercise in such a way to maintain that balance. Don't do only energetic exercise. And that's why here, when we do energetic exercise, we spend equal time to restore the balance, right? Unwind is very important. Read a book, listen to music, do some breathing exercise, and so forth. And really, really make sure that you focus on the quality of your sleep. And finally, be very open to compassion, loving kindness, and try to stay away from all the negative emotion. And none of that requires money. And even if you have all the money in the world, all the power in the world, it is not going to help you. And a very famous example is Steve Jobs, who started Apple, and he died very young. He's only a year older than me. He died almost 10 years ago, and he died of pancreatic cancer. And in his deathbed, he says, I now know that I cannot buy back my health with money. He says, I have so much money. I have so much money, and I can't buy it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Now, another example is of someone on the same side is a president. So we all know that he has very bad health. It's just that he keeps saying that he's not, but he is. I mean, don't lie to me. Now, of course, finally he can't lie anymore, and he says that he has some problem with his vein. Now, we have our body is constructed in such a way that the heart does 2 things. It pumps blood into our body circulating oxygens, and then at the same time it extracts the waste in form of carbon dioxide and bring it back into the heart, right? The heart and the lung works together as partners in that way, in that sense. So the left side of the heart is the one that pumps the blood out, and the right side of the heart is the one that gets the blood back. Now, you can't bring the blood back as fast as you can pump it out. Just the way the heart works, right? You have positive pressure, bring it up, and then you can't bring it back so easily. And so the body has evolved, and the body says, well, wait a minute, there's a whole new set of system waiting for us to exploit, which is called the limbic. The limbic is another system that's just on standby because it doesn't do anything when you're healthy. It only gets in action when you're actually being attacked by by an external factor, and then it sends signal to your heart to create white blood cell. The rest of the time, it's just sitting there. And so the body evolved in such a way that half of the blood actually comes back to the vein, and the other half come back from the embolic system. That's the way it works. So when someone says that he has problem returning the blood, it's not just the vein, it's also the limbic system. It means that the person is very, very unhealthy. Very, very unhealthy. His body is highly inflamed. And so when you have inflammation in the body, it doesn't stop at one place. Your entire body is inflamed. So the man is obviously highly diabetic. You don't need to tell me. I can look at him. I can tell he has high blood pressure. He has all kinds of disease. He's not going to make it through his second term. I can guarantee you that. But look at him. Look at him. He doesn't eat right. What does he eat? He eats fast food. That's not food. He doesn't exercise. He doesn't unwind. He doesn't sleep. His man is completely filled with hatred. So there's no openness to talk about. I don't want you to be like him. I really don't. Okay? So we're not trying to be like him. We don't want to be like him. And so we're going to focus on the body. We're going to do something that money cannot buy. Money cannot buy health. You can have all the doctors in the world, they can only extend your lifespan. They cannot expand. They cannot work on your health span. Health is your own business. Okay? All right. So let's continue with our meditation. It's very important. So here we are learning how to use the diaphragm. And then later on, when we do the breathing exercise, that's really, really heavy duty breathing the diaphragm. But right now, we're just going to try it. Breathing in, breathing out, exercising the diaphragm, cycling ourselves through the what's called this the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. All right, restoring our self-healing power, reducing inflammation in the body. Right, all of that good stuff. Now the next part, we're going to continue, and this time we're going to focus on the breath, but not necessarily the belly button. We're just going to feel the stomach moving very so slightly. When we feel that we're breathing in, the stomach opens slightly. When we feel that we're breathing out, the stomach contracts slightly. Knowing that we're cycling now between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And now what we're going to do, we're going to come back to the body. We're going to sit up straight, open our shoulder, lean back, relax, all of that. And now we're going to focus on the lower part of the spine. All right. So as soon as you know that you're breathing in, as soon as you know that the stomach opens slightly, I want you to move from the lower part of your spine up the spine towards the top of the head. And as you do that, I want you to stretch the spine. Then as soon as you know that you're breathing out, I want you to come down from the top of the head to the forehead, to the nose, through the tongue, and back to the belly button. And when you do that, I want you to lean back and relax. Now, it's a very simple exercise. Let's do it, and then I'm going to explain why we have to do this. Okay, ready? When we breathe in, we go from the lower part of the spine, up the spine, to the top of the head, stretch the spine. When we breathe out, we come back from the top of the head, through the nose, through the tongue, all the way down to the belly button, and we're going to lean back and relax. 5 minutes, and then I'll explain, okay? Okay. All right. So during my travel, one day I woke up and I look at my phone, and there's a news item that says that a man got strangled by an MRI and died. I said, what? How does the MRI strangle a man and kill him? Well, I don't know how many of you know what MRI is. MRI and a CT machine is different. A CT scan is different from MRI. A CT scan is called computerized topography. It's basically a rotating X-ray machine. Very often they would give you some nuclear active dye to just see how inside your body using X-ray. MRI is magnetic resonance imaging. Basically, you have these big old machines on outside create a magnetic field, makes a lot of noise. It has a small hole and it sends you through the hole, and it basically sees the resonance of your body induced by the magnetic field. All right. Now, we have a big MRI in our universe, very big. It's all the planets that are rotating around us that actually have a magnetic core. Those planets, they don't include the moon. The moon has no. The moon has a solid core, so it has no magnetic field. But the Jupiter, the Mercury, the Venus, the Saturn, and the Mars, those are the 5 planets closest to us. They have magnetic field. And so the Earth obviously have magnetic field. So there's magnetic field around us, but we can't feel it. Most of the time we cannot feel it because our mind are not coherent. Our body is not coherent. Okay? Our mind is everywhere. And so the first thing you have to do is when you meditate is to anchor your mind. As you anchor your mind, the blood flow in your body becomes coherent. The blood contains iron, so therefore you're creating an electric field, and a coherent electric field will create a magnetic field. And so all of a sudden your body has a magnetic field. It resonates with the magnetic field outside, and it helps now to enhance the flow of energy in your body. And so the work that we just did, the 5 minutes that we did, is called the microcosmic orbit. What it does is that as you use the diaphragm to breathe, it creates static electrons in the intestines. And as you bring it up using the potential that is created between your left brain and the right brain, it circulates in your spine and come back, and circulates in your spine and come back. That magnetic field that it creates resonant with the magnetic field outside, and you're actually benefiting from that mutual energy. And so if you practice this technique with diligence, very quickly you will feel that there is a rise of energy in you as you breathe in. And then the energy comes back to the belly button, and it actually circulates around your upper torso, going up on your spine, coming back, and going up on the spine, and then coming back. Now, this is the part of the practice where we enter into what we call wandering dragon chasing the pearl. The energy rising in you is not the energy of your body, it's actually the resonance of the magnetic field outside the universe. It goes up, that's the pearl. What you want to do is you want to relax and follow that instead of leading it, because the dragon always chase after the pearl. And then you go up, and then you come down, and then you go up, and then you come down. All right. Okay. So we're going to do that after we practice the breathing exercise. So let's quickly do some stretching. Work on our spine. Okay. Stretching. So let's sit up straight, open the shoulder, relax, and we're going to put our hands together, palm facing up. We're going to take a deep breath using our diaphragm. Breathe in. Flip the hand, breathe out. Stretch, looking straight ahead. Climb the mountain. come back. Breathe in again. Breathe out. Climb the mountain using the, once again, breathe in. Breathe out. Lock your elbow. Climb the mountain. And then back again. Palm facing up. Flip. Palm facing down. Stretch. Looking straight ahead. Bring your palms to the front. Bring it all the way up. And then we're going to push, stretching the spine. Lean back. Come back to the middle. Push again. And then now we're going to lean to the left. It's actually stretching the spine to the left. Come back. That's why you have to maintain that tension. Push. Lean to the right. Come back. Push again to the left. Come back. Push again to the right. And then come back. Lower your hand. Open the shoulder. Relax. Putting the right hand on the left shoulder. Lean back. So you're putting pressure on the right shoulder. Grab the right elbow. Stretch your spine. Stretch to the left. Come back to the opposite. Stretch to the right. And then come back. Focus on the breath. One breath at a time. Open the shoulder. Lean back. Relax. Left hand facing up. Right hand between your fingers and your palm. Bring it down. Push out your elbow. Eyes looking straight ahead. Elbow up. Palm facing forward. Without turning your upper torso, bring the left hand to the right. And then come back. Relax. Sit up straight. The other hand. Bring it down. Push out your elbow. Bring it up. Palm facing forward. Sit up straight without turning your upper torso. Bring the right arm to the left. And then come back. And then relax. Open the shoulder again. Relax. Right palm facing up. Left palm facing down. Open the shoulder as if you're pushing the sky. Lock your elbow. Wrist at 90 degrees. Palm facing up. And then take your left hand. Push down. Lock your elbow. Wrist at 90 degrees. Palm facing down. And then lean back. Your right arm. Turn your head to the left, to the shoulder. Turn your eyes so you're looking at the back. Bring back your eyes. Bring back your head. Relax. The other side. Open your shoulder. Push. Right hand. Push. Lean back the left hand. Turn your head to the right. Turn your eyes to the back. Bring back your eyes. Bring back your head. And then relax. Right? Okay. So now we're going to stretch the spine again. Sit up straight. Open the shoulder. Relax. Fingers locking, put it on your lower back, palm facing up, palm facing down. Push until you lock your elbow. Now focus on top of your head and the center of your palm at the same time. Push the hand down, lift up the top of the head, one up, one down, stretch your spine, and then relax. Lean back so you're looking at the 45 degree, and then bring your arm up as much as you can, and then relax. Back to the breathing. Open your shoulder, bring back, relax. Right hand touching the left shoulder, and then lift up your right shoulder, and then relax. Touching the right shoulder, lift up your left shoulder, and then relax. Right hand, put that in the lower back, 2 fingers pointing the left shoulder. Bring down your right shoulder, and then relax. The other hand, bring down your left shoulder, and then relax. Now put the hands together. Looking straight ahead, 2 shoulders, right shoulder up, left shoulder down, and then relax. The other way. There we go. And then left shoulder up, right shoulder down, and then relax. Back to the breathing. And all I'm breathing in. Relax. Restore the sensitivity to your stress hormone. Okay, one last exercise called the reverse Buddha. Open your shoulder, lean back, and then put your palms together, fingers pointing down. Now, rotate your hands so the fingers are pointing up. Bring it up. Try to put your palms together, looking straight ahead. Open the shoulder, push your palm forward, one back, one forward. And then relax. Back to the breath. One breath at a time. Okay? All right, that was good exercise, right? Okay. Okay, so now we're ready. And before we do the breathing exercise, we have to continue with the joint exercise. And we did the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder. The counterparts are the heel, the knee, and the hip. Okay? All right. So first the knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now to the heel. Right heel first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to stand on the toes. This is a very good exercise. Stand on your toes. The lower part, lower body strength is very important for longevity. Staying on your toes actually activate all the energy lines on the lower side, which includes kidney, liver, and the spleen. Okay, and this is actually a very good exercise if you have lower back problem. All right. So first, open the shoulder, looking straight ahead. Focus on the top of the head, and let's learn how to really focus. Right, like without moving your eyesight, just really focus, looking straight ahead like this, and then just stand on your toes. If you don't look straight ahead, you let your mind wander, and you're going to be wobbling because fear comes in. Okay, another time, and then impact the heel. There's a reason for that. Stand and then impact the heel. Okay, now this next exercise is very important to maintain the neurological health, right? One of the first signs of dementia is loss of balance because losing the independence of the left brain, the right brain changes everything. So we're going to learn to stand on our left foot, and then we're going to kick our right foot. Now, when you kick, I want you to focus on the heel. So you're going like this, okay? But it's very difficult to do, but it's very important. So when you do that, focus on top of the head, looking straight ahead without moving your eyesight. Focus. Get it ready? Now kick with the heel. Okay, get ready? 1, come back. 2, come back. And then 3, come back. All right? Now stand on the right, balance first. Focus on the heel, looking straight ahead. It's easier said than done, huh? Okay, get ready? 1, 2, and 3. Huh? Like the heel, huh? Okay, now to the hip. As we age, it's very important to maintain the flexibility of the hip. Because when you fall, the only part that can bring it back is the hip. And so we don't want to fall when we age, okay? Now we stand on the right foot. We bring our body to the left foot. We form a straight line between the heel, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder, and we turn along that straight line as much as we can to loosen up the hip, and then we move forward again and relax. Second time, forward, and then relax. One last time, forward, and then relax. Okay? All right, now we're going to do the other side. Bring it to the right, form a straight line, turn, right, loosening up your right hip, forward, and then relax. Bring it back, forward, and then relax. One last time, forward, and relax. This is actually a very basic exercise for people who practice Tai Chi, is to loosen up the hip, right? Okay, now we're ready to do the pranayama, the breathing exercise, using the diaphragm. The magical part of this is you don't even have to think about it. The only thing there are two things you have to remember. One is that you always want to focus on the center of your palm. You don't let your mind wander. You bring it back, you lower it, and then you stand back up. Second thing you have to remember is that the breath has to follow the body. Okay, not the other way around. So when you move, you don't stop breathing. You stop breathing only when the body stops. Now let me show you. Get ready? Breathe in, all the way in. Don't stop in the middle. Breathe out. Breathe in. Don't stop in the middle. Breathe out. In. Out. Okay, now changing form. In, cross your hand a little bit higher so you can see it, huh? So you can follow the center palm. And then out. Don't stop in the middle. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. And out. Now we're going to go from standing to moving to standing. And when we stand, we focus on the breath. So now we were meditating before mindfulness in motion. Now we're meditating on our breath, right? One breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Just like when we were doing joint exercise, there's a beginning and an end. Beginning is when you commit, and then end is when you recommit. Okay? Okay, all right. So now the second one is called the balloon breathing. So we lean back on the right foot, on the left foot. We lift up the toes on the right foot. We're looking at the ceiling about 45 degrees. We bring our hands up high enough so we can see it. We follow the center of the palm. We roll forward, and then we roll back. As we move forward, we breathe in. The heel is up on the left foot, right? And then as we bring back, we breathe out. And don't stop in the middle. And breathe in. Now the trick is to focus on the out breath. Breathe out as much as we can. And then the body will naturally breathe in. You don't have to do anything when you breathe in. Breathe out. Close your mouth. And then very relaxed. Breathing in on its own. Breathe out. In. Out. One last time. In. Out. Lower your hand. 1 minute of standing meditation. Okay, now to the left. Get ready. Breathe in. And breathe out all the way out. And then very relax. Let the body breathe in on its own and breathe out. Relax and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. In and out. One last time. Breathe in and breathe out. Lower your hand back to standing. Another minute of standing meditation. Focus entirely on your breath, one breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. As if you're putting coins in a piggy bank, one coin at a time. After you put one coin in, you let it go. You're ready for the next one. Okay, now the next exercise called the butterfly is an amazing exercise. It combines everything. It works on the lower body strength, right? It practice on the balancing, so it's good for your neurological health, and it also works on your abdominal breathing, and a few more. Okay, now so you just stand, you follow your hand, and then you lower your knee as you bring down your hand. Then you bring it back up as you stand on your toes, lifting up your heel until the hands to the top back of the hand touching. As you come down, you breathe in. As you go up, you breathe out. You don't stop in the middle, okay? You breathe out all the way. Breathe in and breathe out. In and out. In and out. One last time. Breathe in and breathe out. Bring it back down. Another minute of meditation. Okay. Now the next one is called push hand. Okay. And it's very much like a Tai Chi exercise, except it's not martial exercise. There's no fighting in here. And you just focus on yourself. Now, the way to do that is imagine there's a water wheel. You bring your hands up on the top of the water wheel. You bring it back down as you sit on your left foot and you look straight ahead as if you're pushing through the center of the water wheel. As you bring up your arm, you breathe in. As you push, you breathe out. And the trick is to open the shoulder as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, it's as if you're pushing it from your lower back. Breathe in, breathe out. in, in, out. Breathe in, breathe out. One last time. In, open the shoulder, and then push as if you're pushing it from the lower back, and breathe out. And then come back. 1 minute. Okay. Now to the left. Get ready. Relax. Follow your hand. Breathe in. Sit on your right foot. Push. Breathe out. Open your shoulder as you breathe in, and then as if you're pushing it from the lower back. In, out. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. In, out. One last time. In, out. Back to the standing. This is our last 1 minute standing meditation. Okay, so the last exercise. Now, some time ago, I read an article by a physician, Western doctor, who talks about the trick, one test that he does to all his elderly patients. And he says, this one test will tell me know how much life they have left. So, wow, what test is that? So it's very simple. The patient sitting on the side of the examining table, and I just ask them to stand up quickly. And if they stand up quickly, they have lightheadedness, then I know that they're not going to last that long. Now, he never explained it. He doesn't understand it either, but he knows that that is true. Well, what happened is that the patient, the elderly person, developed what is called adrenal fatigue, that the adrenal gland are not working anymore for all kinds of reasons, mostly because they just don't know how to restore the balance. And when you have that and you stand up, the body senses danger, change in the center of gravity. It should increase your blood pressure to put more blood into your brain. When it cannot do that, then you have lightheadedness. Okay, so this next exercise is to restore the adrenal health. And now, if you already are experiencing lightheadedness, then you either skip this one or you make sure you have a chair next to you. Okay, now it's very simple. We breathe in and then we breathe out as we lower our body, opening up our knee. And when you get to the very bottom, you push your back forward. Then you breathe in, you bring up your body, and then when you get to the top, you lean back. Okay, but be careful. Get ready. Breathe in, breathe out, push forward, breathe in, lean back, and then relax. Second time, breathe out, breathe in, and then relax. One last time, breathe out, and breathe in, and relax. Okay? So I told my mom to see her cardiologist early part of the week, and she's recovering from a hospital stay 2 months ago. Um, and she's recovering very well. And the doctor did that to her, asked her to stand up, and she jumped up. And the doctor go, whoa. And my mom's celebrating her 89th birthday this year. She's a healthy woman. Well, because she has a very strong will to live. Okay, now we're going to meditate. And I want you to come back to your breath. I want you to feel your breath. And when you feel that you're breathing in, I want you to cycle the chi from the lower back up the spine to the top of the head. And when you're breathing out, I want you to come back from the forehead down the bridge of your nose, through the tongue, back to your belly button. When you breathe in, you stretch your upper torso. When you breathe out, you lean back and relax. Okay, let's sit for 7 minutes. Now I'm going to explain why is it that we call this the wandering dragon chasing the pearl. You move up as if there's a pearl and you're just following the pearl. Now in the beginning you don't actually feel that. That's easy. That's okay. But someday you will. The key is to understand that it's a wandering dragon. The dragon is your mind. As you come up to the top of the head, you want to free the dragon as if the top of the head has a cloud. The dragon sees the cloud, sees that the cloud is her ancestor home. So you let the dragon leave the top of the head, enter into her ancestor home. And then when you breathe out, the dragon will come back, chase the pearl, come back to your belly button. And then when you breathe in, you go up again. Don't stop at the top of the head. Relax. And then when you breathe out, you come back again. Now, what happened is that after a while, not only will you sense the pearl, but you will sense that your head is very cool and your stomach is very warm. Warm as if your stomach is actually the dragon's cave. So the dragon comes back to your belly button. It stays in the cave. Don't be such a hurry. And when your body naturally breathes in, it will come out from the cave, follow the spine to the top of the head, enter the cloud, wait for the breath, and when you breathe out, it comes back up. Okay, let's continue. Okay, open your eyes. It's time for the end of class. But before we do that, I just want to remind you. Once upon a time, I talked about how the Chinese view the body, and it think of the organs in its yin organs and the yang organs. Yin organs are what we call the treasure organs. Each contains essence of life. The yang organs are what we call the chamber organs. They're just the conduit for nutrition. So the yin organs are the heart, the lung, the splint, the liver, and the kidney. The yang organs, the chamber organs, are the intestines, the stomach, the bladder, and so forth. So I asked a question. I said, which organ do you think get developed first? Which is the first organ? And it was a trick question because there was none of them. Our very first organ is actually connective tissue. Think of the sperm and the egg. The egg chooses the sperm. It does that by communicating with all the candidate through the membrane. Once you've chosen is candidate, they merge and then they split. All this time through the membrane, through the connective tissue. So as we fully develop, we have all these organs, all these muscles, all these veins, and so forth and so on. But the most important communication channel is the connective tissue. And so the whole Chinese philosophy of health is to focus on that. We give it name. We call them the meridians, the channel of qi. And then we also identify energy points along those meridians. And that's what we work on. And by making sure that the communication channel, this connective tissue, or what sometimes called fascia, except that fascia is really just myofascia, just the muscle. Here we talk about not only the muscle, but everywhere. Okay, so it's very unique, and but the Western scientists are starting to understand that they're intrigued by it. Okay, all right. So with that, I'll see you all next week, and nice to be back. Good to see all of you again, and look forward to seeing you in another week. Keep up the practice. Okay, all right. 我哋星期一見，拜拜。